Namaste and a very good day to you all. Are Hindus stupid? This is the question we are going to answer today. What do you think? You think the Hindus are stupid? That they don't know anything? And that they are stuck in a time warp and cannot progress in life? And is it because of their religion? To answer these questions, we have to understand, do Hindus have a religion first of all? Now let's look at the word Hindu itself and Hinduism. The Arab people termed the people who lived across the Sindh river as Sindhus, and over time it changed to Hindus. The people came to be known as Hindus, and what they practiced in their daily life, which was their way of life, not a religion, was termed Hinduism. Now this was a name that was given to us by people from the outside. It's now not our own name. Hinduism is not a religion like other religions. Hinduism is a very way of life that people live. So we had 6 philosophical thoughts. We call it Saddarshan, or the 6 views. From the 6 views on human's life, we have the Sankhya, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and so forth. 6 schools. And that's what people adopted and were living that particular way in order to attain moksha. That's all. Every person who's termed a Hindu, their goal is to attain moksha or nirvana, nothing else. So it was not a faith-based dogmatic religion like what some religions are. I will tell you the main difference. In present times, there are religions who believe that God is outside and watching them, doing everything that they do right or wrong, and observing them. Hindus don't believe that. They believe that the concept of God is not an external being, but is the very core of yourself. The innate self-propelling Shakti, Swatantriya Shakti they call it, with Shiva and Shakti as the main dominant energy. So Hinduism really actually is a depiction of how energy transforms itself into everything that we can see and also things that we cannot see. It propagates a study of the self, and every human being have to take the path sooner or later, a self journey, to realize themselves what is the meaning of existence. What is contained in the Shastras are only pathways. It doesn't give the ultimate answers, because the answer is not to be found without, on the outside, on the external environment, but has to be found by oneself inside, in the very core of the inner self. So this is totally different from what other people believe and perceive. And based on this difference, those who believe that everything is on the outside, even their creator is on the outside, cannot understand or comprehend at all what we are searching for. Again, to go back to our question, are Hindus stupid? Well, we have to look at the ancient society. Now, due to science and technology's improvements and carbon dating, being practiced, they have found that the Indus Valley civilization goes back to anything between 6000 BC to 8000 BC. Indus Valley civilization is one of the earliest civilizations that is found in India, predating any other civilization. And in that, they found that there was a very structured, proper way of living. Long time ago, before even the modern world existed. And these people were farmers. They were not hunters. That is the very, very important aspect of the Indus Valley civilization. It's proven beyond doubt that they were farmers. And they had a very precise way of farming. And this way of farming and the methods incorporated in it has been found up to Persia, the present-day Iran, and China, and the whole of Southeast Asia, including Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, and many other places. This shows to the extent that these people were willing to share their knowledge with the outside world. In fact, they taught them not only farming methods, also on animal husbandry, to rear the cow, to use the buffaloes, and to use a lot of other things. Use tools, early tools, that will enhance the living of a particular community, and that's what they did. And in doing so, this practice of sharing knowledge has been going on for thousands of years. And Indians have contributed to so many things in the world. Yoga, everyone knows, is such a significant contribution of Indians to the world, so that people will be able to live a healthy life. Ayurveda, the name itself says, is the science of life. For the well-being of human beings, they've shared the knowledge of Ayurveda, whereby you use herbs, plants and all to make yourself active, to strengthen your immune system, and so forth. Temple structure. We have one of the most elaborate and detailed, when you look at it from a layman's point of view, and also when you look at it from an architect's point of view, it is unbelievable the structures that they created and that are standing till today for more than 2000 years. Someone with a brilliant mind and a great mathematician only could have made it possible. It's not a man from the street. He comes one day, wakes up, and he thinks, today I'm going to build a temple. And he succeeds in building a temple. No. It takes the collaboration of so many different lines of study, mathematics, engineering, etc., to build a temple. It is one of the most interesting and mythological, you can say, till today, and the people are still trying to find out the answers on how they build it, why they build it, what is the science behind it, and everything. But one thing they all agree, definitely there was a science and technology involved in building this temple. I will give you a brief description. Temples were the center of a community. Temples are places where you gain spiritual knowledge, and they were the schools of ancient times. Adults and children went there like to learn and gain knowledge. It was the center of education, and also it was the center of their social life. The dancers, the musical performers, the festivals, and everything, etc., etc., of the Indian civilization was centered around the temple. It was a great way, a very intelligent and scientific way, for the general populace to have a temple within their community for them to go learn and gain knowledge, compared to what kind of schools we have today. That is one of the most significant contributions of Indians to the world. Also, iconography. If we go back and look at the Indus Valley, they found seals of an ancient image of Shiva with horns on his head. And in later civilizations, the horns became the trishul, the three-pronged tool, or as Western historians or scholars call it, a three-pronged hunting equipment. That's what they term it. So, in this iconography, which is practiced till today, in all the statues, all the pictures, there's a meaning given to each pose or hand gestures or whatever they are holding in their hands. And we know what the meaning of these things are. It is not mere imagination of a human being. It is a well thought of with a science behind it, so that people will understand the meaning of that image and they can progress in their spiritual life. It's not a simple thing. It's very difficult to conceptualize the very concept itself. It's very abstract. And they did it thousands of years ago. Till today, these modern times, the so-called scientists or scholars or philosophers are not able to come close to any of these depiction of the iconography. That is a big contribution of the Indian community to the world. And it goes on further. It's unending. The bindi we put, it has a totally different meaning to what you see. And then the earrings that men and women wear is also coming from the Indian civilization. The nose stud, the bangles, the anklets the woman wears, and also the toe rings, which is a very scientific creation for the well-being of a woman's health. So, how can we be stupid when we know so many things that the world didn't know and don't know till now? The best part is the world doesn't know till now. They look at it as tribal or traditional. What rubbish is this? Why can't you accept if somebody is smarter than you and they have a better understanding of the world and the universe, and they give you and share the knowledge with you? Why can't you accept it? Why do you resist it? Because you don't want to feel that you are not smart enough? Is that your problem? Do you think that being ignorant is smart? Why don't you accept that what we are teaching you is beyond your comprehension, and then try to learn it and live like a human being? That is why we are sharing our knowledge to you. What else is the purpose of we sharing our knowledge to you? Let me give you an example. This white man, his name is Whitehead. He came somewhere to India in the 18th century. And he documented and wrote a lot of things about the so-called Hindu religion that he observed. And when they saw a statue of Shiva holding a trident, and he said, he must be from a tribe. He must be the king or head of a tribe. And he's got his superior weapon in his hand. And then the people are hunters, like what everybody in those days are supposed to be. Utter nonsense. Totally utter nonsense. It's like a dumb animal coming into a civilization and looking at a skyscraper and saying, this is a box. And that's what this guy has done. And the worst part is, his books are being used as reference books in Oxford University till today. When you study Hinduism in Oxford, you have to refer to his books. Wouldn't we be better judge of our own faith or our own way of life than you, relying on your own people who don't know anything about this? I'll tell you today how bollocks is your observation. The trident is not a hunter's tool. It can never be. Shiva is not a living human being. Shiva is energy. How are we going to portray energy to you? You are a bloody fool who can only use your eyes to see. You don't have any other method of comprehension apart from your eyes. If I close your eyes, you can't see anything. You're blind as a bat. That's why you saw the trident and you thought it is a hunter's tool. The trident is your Sushumna Nadi. The trident is your depiction of your nadis. Your Sushumna, Pingala, and your Ida. So this is your backbone, the center of your backbone, what is inside of it, the most subtlest aspect of it, with two of the energy channels rising from your Kundalini up to the middle of your eyebrows. That is what the trident is. So now it's not a tool, we know. Since it's not a tool, then your whole thesis that you wrote on the book on Hinduism is totally wrong. When are you going to admit it? When are you going to throw your books away? The books are rubbish. Ask us. We have the knowledge to share. We will share free with you if you have the courtesy to ask, instead of making observations with your convoluted eyes that can't see fact for fiction. You know, in English they have few words that I call dirty words, vulgar words, right? The words like tribal, primitive, and so forth. They came from such a developed, modern, cosmopolitan city in 1776 to India, and people didn't have clothes. Our bloody country is hot. We don't wear clothes on the upper body. Why do we need clothes? Your country is cold. You need clothes, a ton of clothes, to make sure you don't get cold. But we don't need it. We live in a country that is summer throughout the year, 365 days. So we don't wear clothes. Isn't that what you all do when you all go to the beach during summer? Hey, we had summer throughout. We are on the beach every day. That's our life. Beautiful life with full of freedom, no judgment from anybody, and we don't care about anybody else. We live our life the way we want, right? So put it in your heads that we don't need you, you need us. You need us because we have the knowledge and we want to share it. I'll give you a very beautiful example. Around the circa of 500 BC, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha was born. Now Buddha was the son of a king. So he was a prince. So his father had a dream. His father dreamt 4 white elephants when Buddha was born. So next day he called his minister. I repeat again. Next day he called his ministers and consulted them. And then they called in the astrologers and consulted them. And the astrologers told them, do not let Siddhartha Gautama Buddha to go out of the palace compound, because if he goes out and he sees the suffering in the world, he will become a spiritual leader, a very, very prominent spiritual leader for thousands of years to come. Now my question is that, how did they know that he will become a spiritual leader? We all read stories, even you read stories. But when you read the story, do you take your brains and put it somewhere in the toilet and read the stories? Or do you read and so the story will form something in your mind? And then your mind starts thinking about it. And then you can come to a very good conclusion. Oh, this is what the story is telling me. How did they know that Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, when he was born, he's going to become the Buddha and one of the greatest spiritual leaders for thousands of years to come? Isn't that mind-boggling for you? Your little brain, can you think, hey, the Indians knew when somebody is born that what is this guy going to become? Isn't that great knowledge? Doesn't that make you wonder? Are you too dunce to even think like that? From the story, I will tell you what I get. We have a king, we have a prince, we have a palace, we have ministers, we have astrologers. I will tell you my deduction from that. Even you cannot think of that. When we have a prince, we know that the king and kingdom, they practice Artha Shastra. If you don't know what it means, Google it, look it up. It's the knowledge that all kings and princes learn from young on how to run their kingdom. That's Artha Shastra, right? A British version of the Artha Shastra is called Pancha Tantra. You can Google it and also you can read it up. maybe you'll become smarter. And when the king called the ministers to consult, that means they don't make the decisions entirely on themselves without verified, proper, factual input. That's what makes a person a king from a commoner. They don't make decisions based on their whims and fancies, but they consult their learned ministers so they can make a better judgment that will be fair to themselves and to everyone. And then the ministers advise to bring in the astrologers. When the astrologers come in, the astrologers, they know astrology. Astrology, you have to know mathematics to know astrology. You have to know astronomy to know astrology. How on earth, in 500 BC, we knew that 9 planets have a connection with our body, and the day we are born is what star we are born under and how it will affect our life. How did we know that in 500 BC we didn't have a telescope, for God's sake? Do you know we didn't have a telescope in 500 BC? I'll tell you what we didn't have in 500 BC. We didn't have electricity. There were no lights. There were only lamps, oil lamps, right? We didn't have running water, right? We didn't have underwear, for your information. Women didn't wear bra. They didn't have an upper body garment. They only had a shawl. This is 500 BC. So you have to think, when you want to judge a society or a civilization, you have to remove all the wrong things that have been imprinted in your mind of this modern era, and then go back to that time period and look at that time period from their own eyes, not from your eyes, from their own eyes, so you will be able to understand how they think and what they did. So from this little story, we have established that they knew mathematics, they knew about the planets, they knew that the moon affected the water on earth, the sea, and also in our body. We Indians, we already knew that the woman's menstruation cycle is in sync with the cycle, 28-day cycle of the moon. Isn't that important knowledge? How can we be stupid if we can understand these things at such an early age and practice it in our lives? And when we talk about the kingdom of Buddha's father, there were kingdoms before that also. So if they know Arthashastra, astrology, astronomy, mathematics, definitely Dharma Shastra has to be there. Without Dharma Shastra, Arthashastra won't be there. Definitely Kama Shastra was already there. So all this knowledge was there and was being practiced. Why are you blind to these things? That we were a great civilization and we had the knowledge, and the knowledge is still going on and we are sharing with the world for the benefit of humanity. Open your eyes, accept it, that we know and we are willing to share. Learn from us so that your society will become a better society instead of living on an animal level. Isn't that what being a human being means? So much of contributions that are coming from us. It's your incapacity to learn that is stopping you from progressing. That's all we are saying. When we talk about mathematics, the concept of zero, how can we not know that zero exists? You must be plain stupid and dumb if you know astrology, astronomy and mathematics, that zero has to be there. We observe the moon and we know the concept of sunya, sunyam, the void, the emptiness. Everything comes from there. So before even the numbers come into existence, the void is there. So how to show the void to you is by using the number zero. Emptiness, void. When we look at the moon, have you ever noticed the moon during the eclipse of the moon? The center is dark and the periphery, you can see a light, exactly like the way we write a zero. We know so many things. Don't you think we could have seen that and understood that, that denotes zero? There's only one of the ways we can decipher that. There's so many other ways. Because if you understand the concept of sunya, then you will understand. And we are not like you. You have your eyes, your nose, your ears, your tongue and your sense of touch to experience the world. We yogis know, to understand the world better, we have to stop looking outside. close your eyes, close your ears, close your nose, close your mouth, and disengage from your sense organs and turn your awareness inside. And if you do it diligently every day, and when you start going inside, and layer by layer, when you reach the core, all knowledge is revealed to you. And that's what we practice day in, day out for thousands of years. Just because you have to see with your open eyes, which is impossible, you can only see maybe 5% of what is knowledge. The balance, you have to look inside. When are you going to accept this, that we are teaching you, so that you will learn this method and come to understand about the world and the universe? You have to start inculcating this habit now. It's too late. Your school system doesn't teach this. Your school system only teaches people to get a degree and to live life selfishly in a greedy manner. In yoga, the first thing we tell is get rid of selfishness. Get rid of your greed. Even that you won't know how to do it. I will teach you. Do you know what's the easiest way to get rid of your greed and selfishness? Take what you have now and give it. Keep on giving. Give and give and give. That's the only mantra for getting rid of your greed and selfishness. We know, we experience it. Buddha left a kingdom to follow the spiritual journey. Has any one of your prince or princess or queen or king ever been able to give up their kingdom till today? Cannot. As long as you have the feeling of selfishness and greed in you, which you are known for, you cannot give it up. Whereas we, the yogis in India, at any point of time in their life, one fine morning when they get up and they feel it's enough, they'll just walk with what they have on their body, nothing else. They don't even take money with them. They leave everything behind. That's the spiritual journey we are talking about. Can you do that? You can't. And we don't expect you to. But at least some parts of what we are trying to teach, why don't you make an effort to learn the good values? We have given so much and we are still contributing so many more, so that you will learn and you will become a proper human being. Let me tell you. Let's talk about food. Very simple concept, everybody can understand. Eat breakfast like a king. Eat lunch like a prince. And eat dinner like a pauper. Wrong! Bullshit and totally wrong. According to Ayurveda and Siddha. Totally wrong. And this is what you teach in your nursery schools. Why? So your children will become sick when they grow older? You must have a light breakfast so that not to overburden your digestive system. You must eat something that digests quickly and doesn't cause heaviness. You must have lunch like a king, because that's the most important meal of the day. And it's between 11 and 12 noon. Why do we say this? I bet you don't know why we have this rule. I'll tell you today why we have this rule. Right? Your digestive power follows the sun from sunrise to sunset. So the sun is at its strongest point during noon. And so in correspondence, your digestive fire is also at its strongest point during noon. That's the time to eat your lunch. A heavy, big lunch. And then dinner, you have to have very little because you don't need the energy. You're going to go to sleep later. If you follow this system, you'll be healthy. We yogis follow it. In fact, we yogis only have one meal a day. That's noon. Finish. Go to the Buddhist monasteries. Ask the monks what they eat. They have one meal a day. Finish. They've been practicing for thousands of years. And you, being such a brilliant guy, a Western man, you come about and say, oh, eat breakfast like a king, eat lunch like a prince, and eat dinner like a pauper. Wrong concepts, wrong ideas, making people sick deliberately. For what? From this itself we know that you are not scientific enough. You are not a modern man. A modern man is a person who uses science for the benefit of himself and for the benefit of humanity's well-being, not to destroy humanity. And you have perpetually, again and again in history, destroyed the indigenous races and people who have been following this kind of rules all their life. The indigenous people, they know how to share. You don't. You take, you hoard, you hide, you keep, you store. This is proven in history. We don't do that. Because why we can't do that is that the moment we do that, we become the same like you, which we don't want. You have a very, very meager, very animalistic way of life. We have a way of life that is full of expression, full of freedom, and full of charity and compassion. The Dalai Lama keeps on saying, there's enough business people in the world. The world needs more healers and more spiritual people. It's true what he's saying. Poor man. He's been saying this for ages, but it's falling on deaf ears. Because people like you don't listen. How much do you need in a day? A bowl of rice, my dear friend, that's it. Nothing more. You will still live. Do you know, I will put more rules to this on your eating. A laborer who does hard labor under the hot sun needs 32 mouthfuls. We take in our hand and we make it a round and they eat it. You can see it in the poor community in India till today, they practice it. They only need 32 mouthfuls to survive, to have the strength and to do the hard labor work, right? An office worker who's not in the sun, who sits all day long, only needs 16 mouthfuls to be alive, to sustain himself. And a yogi only needs 8 mouthfuls, half of that. Now I am asking you this question. How do we know that? Every concept that I'm talking to you, I want you to think. How do we know this? Where did the knowledge come from? It came from our ancestors, our ancient. We live a wonderful life. Before the British came to India and ruled India for 200 years, India was rich. The traders of the Arabic world were whispering among themselves, and these whispers reached Europe, Portugal, Spain, and England. And what was this whisper? The roads in India are made of gold. They have so much gold. Every household has so much gold. So you took your ships, you took your guns, came to India, not to spread goodwill, not to spread knowledge, or not to even acquire knowledge, but to steal the gold. Look at what kind of human being you are. You're bloody robbers. And that's what you did to India for 200 years. Until when you left India, from being the richest nation in the world, India was the poorest nation in the world, with widespread famine and poor people. And you, I don't have words to describe you. What is this? So stealing is your way of life. Is it so? And you calling us stupid. Are we really stupid? We are not. We are brilliant human beings. Human beings, not animals. You might be a brilliant animal. We are brilliant human beings. Right? And we are still sharing with you so much of knowledge. From the Shastras. Recently, an Indian woman who has a total Western education, a lot of English schools in India, and they go overseas and they get educated, and say the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Shastras are predominantly written by men. It's a very patriarchal literature. I will share this one verse with you for you to understand it's not patriarchal at all. It's not. It's just stories. When the Shastras were written, all the Shastras were written by Siddhas, Munivas, Yogis, not the man in the street who one day woke up and fancied, oh, I'm going to be a writer, let's write the Mahabharata, let's write the Ramayana. Bullshit. These are Siddhas, Yogis, accomplished who can tap into the vast ocean of knowledge by going inwards and coming out with the shlokas and then expounding on the shlokas for the general people to understand. So, the way the Shastras are written is a story form. Why did they write a story form instead of like a science textbook or a factual book, like a physics book or astronomy or whatever? Why did they write a story form? Because, you idiots, if they wrote a factual book, only a certain percentage of the population who is literate can study. But because they wrote it in a story form, the stories can be told verbally to every single section of society, even the blind can hear, so that the knowledge becomes a common knowledge to every living person in India. That's why it was written in a story form. So, when you're a small child, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, the parents or the gurus tell you these stories, bit by bit, day by day, maybe like a bedtime story or dinner story or something. And these stories, when somebody tells you a story, I want you to analyze this because I want you all to stop being stupid. Okay? When somebody talks, analyze what this person is talking. That's the first rule for you to have your own thinking capacity. Do you understand that? So start analyzing what I'm saying. Right? When somebody tells you a story, your mind shows it to you in pictures, not in words. Am I right? In a given day, there are 50 to 60,000 images that run through your mind. That's one day. So when somebody tells you your story, that image is created in your mind and you absorb the story faster than reading. That's what they wanted to do, to make the people absorb the story as fast as possible so that it will be in their memory, so that they will have a background to fall back on to live their life. That's about it. So when you're young, you learn these stories. As you grow older, as your knowledge increases, you can bring out the story from your memory and analyze it in a more technical and more scientific manner. That's what it's supposed to do. And as you become older and become heavier with more knowledge, your whole analysis of the story when we were young until you're older, the whole perspective will change. That's the most important part of putting it in stories, so that you can analyze it yourself and get the answers that you want from itself. One example from the Bhagavad or Ramayana. Krishna had 16,108 wives. For the white man, this is a nightmare. Having one wife is so difficult to please. How does a Indian man, poor Indian man with no clothes on his back, manage 16,108 wives? So this lady who said it's patriarchal, that's what you're looking at. What a 5-year-old child looks at, and that's what you're looking at. Where has your brain developed to be able to see this is not patriarchal at all? It's only a metaphor in the story. That's the mythology part. The story is the mythology part. Shastras, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana have layers and layers of knowledge in it. You are looking at the top layer, which is supposed to be the story. Look at the inner layer, inner layer, inner layer. I bet you can't look, you can't see, you can't understand because you're stupid. Believe me, you're stupid. Right? We know you're stupid, so we don't force you, my dear. We don't force you at all. Learn at your own pace. Maybe in 5 janma or 5 generations of your lifetime, maybe you will get the knowledge. We already arrived. So we are still trying to educate you. The 16,108 wives is not wives when you look at it in a different context, in a layer. It's your 16,108 nerves that are in your body. We know that. Because you fail to educate yourself in the proper manner, you don't know that. And because you don't know that, you are telling that the Shastras are patriarchal. Total nonsense and rubbish of your Western educated mind. The pseudo-Hindus we call you, we don't want your opinion. Keep your opinion to yourself, because what the West sells, you fall for it. That's all. You like the stars, the glitter that the West has been portraying, and that's what your life is about, centered around the glitter. We are not amazed by the glitter. In fact, we are not even amazed by gold. We only want the real knowledge to come out. So please respect the Shastras and learn it. The ancient people were right. You have to memorize it, first of all. That's what they do when you're from 3 years old until 10 years old. They ask you to memorize shloka by shloka. Until and when you have memorized it shloka by shloka, until then you don't have the right to talk or judge on the Shastras. Learn. Even the first verse of the Kama Sutra, Dharmartha Kamavyo Namaha, you don't know what it means, and you judge the Kama Sutra. You judge everything with a convoluted eyes. Wrong. Stop doing this. Right. I'll give you another example. When these Western people, anyway, from the Western country, they come to India and they want to take a documentary. They bring 3 to 5 people, their crew, and then they get a local tour guide. I am a yogi. I don't work as a tour guide, so you can't find me. And I am a professor in one of the universities. As an example, I'm telling you, if you understand that, one of the universities, I'm busy teaching my students, lecturing to them. I don't have the time to become your tour guide. Most of the time, these guys will hire a tour guide who can speak a little bit English and who can show them around so that they can source out the location and shoot what they want to shoot. And so this 5 or 6 group of blind men come together from overseas, come to India, and they bring their camera and they start shooting on different locations, on different things we are doing, festivals, yatras, homas, pujas, garland making, so many things that you will never understand in your life. And we keep on doing it on a daily basis. The Abhisheka we do for our temple, every day without fail, 365 days a year for 2 or 3,000 years, as long as the temple came to be built. It's non-stop at 4 in the morning and 4 in the evening. That's how committed we are in the pursuit of knowledge, not in the pursuit of ritual alone. Knowledge, right? So these guys shoot and they make up their own idea of what these people are doing, and then they ask this tour guide to explain some things to him. What does the tour guide know, first of all, you morons? If I want to do a documentary or want to write a book, shouldn't I find a person who is well knowledge in that subject and conduct an interview with them so they can give a proper explanation to everything? Shouldn't that be the right way? That would be the right way. But these people come all the way and they don't hire or don't consult such a person. They go to the tour guide and ask the tour guide to explain about Shastras. How is that right? How is that going to give you the proper knowledge? Ask us. Ask us. We know. When we explain the concept of energy to you, you won't understand. This has to be developed for you to understand. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Energy can only be transformed. We know that. We do it every day in our homes with the Arati. You don't know that because you don't do it. You don't have experience of playing with the energy. We have. We have a lot of experience playing with the metaphysical, which you can only see when you close your eyes. But you chose not to close your eyes. You keep your eyes open and try to see it with your eyes open. You can never see the metaphysical, my dear friend. You will never be able to see the metaphysical and the spiritual side of it. You are not able to see it as long as you keep looking outside. So stop disturbing us with all these false ideas, false knowledge, false writing of your books that you use as texts, and then you go and pollute the minds of young people thinking that this is the text, and they do a degree, a PhD on it, and then come out not knowing anything. Come to us. We can teach them a lot of things on life, on the inner workings of a human being and everything that is important in this life. Stop all this nonsense. Learn from us. When you come to India, come with a humble mindset that you want to learn, not compare. Comparison is not learning. Comparison is judging. You are bigger or I am bigger. It's egoistical. It is based on your ahamkara. There's no place of ahamkara in Shastras. That's the first rule. You have to bow down. Wash the feet of your Guru so that the Guru will bestow knowledge to you. Why do we do that? To kill off your ego, your ahamkara. With ahamkara you cannot learn. Do you know that what there is? Your senses, your manas, your ahamkara, your buddhi. That's your internal apparatus that sees the whole world. Do you even know that? Start learning, my dear friends. Stop wasting your time on pursuits of being greedy, selfish, buying a bigger house, buying a bigger car. For what? You live a meager existence of not even 100 years. Why do you want a big house for? Why do you want a luxurious car for? You have got 2 good legs, walk. If you need to go buy a car, go buy a car. But it doesn't have to keep changing all the time, becoming luxurious. It's your greed only makes you go after luxury. Remember this. Only greed propels you to go after luxury. So when I see a person going in buying luxury stuff, I know they are greedy beyond their means. Or with means, they are just greedy. If you can help another human being, or just that one family in this world can help just one family, one other family in their lifetime, there will be no poverty in the world. Do you know that? There will be no poverty in the world. We don't have to be having people with poverty. I'll give you one example, right? The richest land in the world, is Africa. Do you know that? Are you aware of that? No, you're not. You can't even think to that level to see that Africa is the richest land in the world. But why then are the people poor? There are a lot of people there who are poor, who are homeless, who don't have food. Why? Because of you. The Western countries going there and steal everything and not giving the people. The Africans should get up, should wake up, right? You should have a United States of Africa for Africans, and you'll have a very good life. Stop following the systems of the West. What your original system, they were very good systems. Revive them and live your life happily. So again and again I'm telling you to wake up, because we are not stupid. We know so much, there's so much knowledge that we have to share with the world. Accept the knowledge and learn from us and try to make your society have a better life. I can go on with so many examples some more on little things, right? Take for example, curry. Everybody knows curry. It's voted as Britain's best food. It's not Indians' best food, it's Britain's best food. Curry. But do you know, curry is a wrong word till today. We know, we laugh. We laugh at your innocent mind. In Tamil, curry means goat meat. It's not the gravy that you eat. That's not curry. Curry is goat meat. Gravy, we have separate names. We call it kolambu. Curry kolambu, meen kolambu, sambar, rasam. It's all different variety and different purpose gravies. You never learnt beyond the first word that you heard, curry. Does that show how far your learning capacity is? It's very low, right? The reason being, you know one language and you have to utter word by word by word. We know 5-6 languages and we sing it. We sing. Our mantras, everything, we sing. Singing. By singing, it's a different level of development of your brain, especially your frontal lobe. You have to understand how the brain works. So, me being a yogi, without a degree, without a PhD, right? I have to know about anatomy, I have to know about musculature, I have to know about the endocrine system, I have to know about the lymphatic system, I have to know about our immunity, body's immunity, blood circulation system, and so forth. I have to know about Ayurveda, Siddha, I have to know about mantra, yantra, bandhas, mudras, and I have to know how the senses work, and why we do asanas in yoga, and so many millions of other things. It's a pursuit of not one lifetime, a few lifetimes. So again, I pose the question to you. Think again. Think very deeply, very carefully. Are Hindus stupid?